Welcome to the Such Your Code and Unbox. Today, we're diving in and unboxing one of the most powerful toolkits out there for building software, the .NET ecosystem and its main language, C#. So let's pull back the curtain and see what really makes it tick.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to lay down the .NET foundation. Then we'll get into something really cool, how it helps you write code that pretty much manages itself. After that, we'll play with the building bricks of C#, and finally, we'll see how it all comes together to build the apps we use every day. Ready? Let's start with the blueprint.
All right, let's get right into it. Starting at the very bottom, the bedrock that absolutely everything else in the .NET world is built on top of.
Okay, so first things first, .NET isn't just a programming language. You got to think of it as a complete open source ecosystem. It's the entire workshop, not just a single tool. It gives developers everything they need to build a huge range of applications. Web, mobile, desktop, games, you name it.
So how does the C# code you write actually get understood by a computer? Well, it doesn't happen directly. It's a really neat two-step process. First, your code gets compiled into something called intermediate language, or CIL. Then, the .NET engine takes that CIL and translates it into the native code that your machine can finally execute.
And that engine I just mentioned, it's got a name, the Common Language Runtime, or CLR for short. This thing is the absolute workhorse of the entire platform. It's basically a virtual machine that handles all the really tough, gritty stuff, like managing memory and security. This is huge because it frees up developers to focus on the fun part, actually building awesome software.
Now that we get the engine, let's look at one of its biggest, most incredible benefits: how it lets us create code that practically takes care of itself.
You see, .NET provides this amazing safety net with a concept called managed code. When your code runs inside that CLR engine we talked about, it's managed, meaning the CLR is handling memory and security for you. Anything running outside of that is unmanaged, which is kind of like working without a net. It can be powerful for sure, but it's way, way riskier.
And a massive part of that managed safety net is this automated cleaning crew called the garbage collector. Now, in the old days, developers had to manually clean up computer memory, which was a huge source of bugs. But with .NET, the garbage collector just automatically finds and reclaims memory that's not being used anymore. Honestly, this is a total game changer for building stable, reliable applications. How C# stores your data is also really fundamental. It basically has two main categories. You've got value types, think of a number, or a simple true-false value. These store the data directly. So if you pass it to a function, you're just handing over a copy. But then you have reference types, like a class. These store a pointer, just an address, to where the data lives in memory. If you pass that around, you're just passing the address, not making a whole new copy of all the data. Understanding this difference is absolutely critical for writing fast, efficient code.
Hey, just taking a quick pause here. If you're enjoying this breakdown and it's helping things click, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to keep learning with us. All right, let's get back to it.
Okay, so we've laid the foundation, we've seen the automated framework. Now let's look at the actual bricks that developers use to build stuff, the C# language itself.
In C#, a class is like a blueprint for creating things. But C# gives developers specialized blueprints for different jobs. An abstract class is like an incomplete template that other classes have to finish. A sealed class is a final design, no more changes allowed. A static class isn't really a blueprint at all, it's more like a utility toolbox full of useful functions. And a partial class just lets you split a really big blueprint across a few files to keep everything nice and organized.
Now for a really core principle, encapsulation. This is all about bundling your data and the functions that work with that data into one neat little package, a class. Think of it like a secure room. All the important stuff is kept inside, hidden away. The only way to interact with it is through a single public door that you control. This protects your data from accidental changes and keeps your code so much cleaner. So, how do all of these different pieces, the CLR, the garbage collection, the C# principles, how do they all come together? Let's see the whole ecosystem in action, building the kinds of modern apps we all use every single day.
See, .NET isn't just one thing. It's really a family of platforms. You have the original .NET framework, which has been a workhorse for Windows apps for years. Then you've got the modern cross-platform .NET. This is what you'd use for web and cloud apps today. And for mobile, there's Xamarin, which lets you use C# to build apps for both iOS and Android from one codebase.
When you're building for the web with modern .NET, you're going to hear the term middleware a lot. The best way to think about it is like an assembly line for incoming web requests. Each request comes in and goes down the line, and at each station, a piece of middleware does one specific thing to it. Like maybe one checks if the user is logged in, the next one routes them to the right page, and another one logs the request. It's a super flexible and powerful way to process web traffic.
And finally, to build software that's meant to last, professional developers follow a set of guiding principles, known as SOLID. Now, each one of these is a deep topic, but let's just grab the first one, S, for single responsibility. It's a simple idea. Every piece of your code should have only one reason to change, one single job. So a class that logs a user in shouldn't also be responsible for processing their payment. Following these 5 principles is what separates good code from truly great professional code.
So there you have it. We've unboxed the foundation, the framework, the language, and the whole ecosystem. We've seen just how much power and flexibility .NET and C# put at your fingertips. The only real question left is, with all these incredible tools and blueprints, what are you going to build next?
Hey, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into the world of .NET was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives that break down the world of code. I'll see you in the next one.